Oh, hi everyone! Welcome to this week's episode of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So this is my weekly tutorial for you where I love to just showcase a specific project or a technique and kind of show you how I've made the card. So this week, what I would love to show you is how to make this lovely card using the Seaside Bay Bundle. I do have to mention, and I'm sure many of you, if you're watching this live or you're actually watching this on April 4th, know that this is the day that Stampin' Up's retiring list is now available for you to shop from. And I'm so pleased to say that this is not on it. So this Seaside Bay Bundle will be carrying over into the 2023 to 2024 Annual Catalogue. Keep in mind, though, the 10% discount when you buy the stamp and the dies together will not be in effect in the next catalog, though, because there's going to be a lot of other bundles that Stampin' Up! Is introducing, so they're offering you the discount on those new products instead. So just remember that while you can purchase this anytime up till April 2024 at this moment, you won't be able to get 10% off by buying the stamp set and the dies together. So just something to keep in mind, you can do that bundle price up until May 2nd. And I'm not going to go over the whole retiring list because that's not the purpose of this video, but I do want to just remind you that I have put my website at the bottom of the page, laurenurbonus.stampinup.net. There are 28 pages worth of retiring product. Everything is while supplies last, but there are some amazing discounts. Some products, especially some not adhesives, some embellishments, maybe even some paper, there's some stamp sets, they're 60% off. So 20 to 60% off is kind of the main discount. There's some items, of course, that aren't discounted, and that's okay too. They're just there, they're retiring, and you can grab them if you want them. But do check out that site because there's so many items on there. If you're in Canada, I do offer free monthly club kits to everyone who places an order over $35. And that is, I will mail it to you anywhere in Canada. You will get a video tutorial, kind of like this one, but it's very exclusive just for ordering. And you'll have a series of projects that you get to put together. So because that retiring list is so important, you need to know that unfortunately the By the Bay designer series paper that complements this bundle and the card we're doing today is retiring. So it's very rare that we carry over any of our paper, which we're well versed on, but it still makes me cry. And oh, thank you so much. Stamping on a budget. So keep in mind, if you want to get your hands on the products to make this card, you'll need to order this paper right away. It is on sale, which is great. It's regularly $21 and it's $16.80 right now. Again, please keep in mind I am in Canada, so products may be different price or unavailable in your markets already if you're somewhere else. But get this paper because it's so pretty, and this bundle's carrying on. And the pearls that complement the bundle are carrying on. So why wouldn't you want this paper too? All right, let's get crafting because I know you're itching too. So if you would like to follow along with me, I have put all of the measurements for the pieces that you need in the description. All the supply list is in there, but this supply list is actually really good. Usually I add a few things. This time I think I'm using all products from the suite. So yay, good job me. Let's get going. Balmy Blue is my card base of choice today, and yay, it's not retiring as a color. So Balmy Blue card base is going to be 5.5 by 8.5, and we're putting a score mark here at 4 1/4. So this just gets folded in half. On the inside, we can go ahead and add a piece to that. I just like to use basic white or vanilla, depending on my cardstock color, so that I have something to write on. This piece is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, and we're just going to add it to the inside of your card using your adhesive of choice. So I love my double-sided tape just because it's so easy, the tear tape. But if you have seal or if you have glue, any of those mediums are working for you too. Okay, so we'll attach that to the inside. We might come back later and add a little detail with a stamp set, but better to get this kind of organized for yourself and out of the way. All right, so now on the front of our card, this is where you get to bring in some of the designer paper from this By the Bay set. So this pattern here, what was it? House and Home. I think we had a package of paper a couple years ago that had so many of these wood grain patterns. If you have any of that left in your stash, then you can use it too, because this side is so cute and it complements the like crab die and the little shell die. So you might not want to use it all up. Just a little hint. But I had to sacrifice it. So we're going to do that. And this goes on the front of my card, just once again using some tape. This layer's flat. Don't worry, everything else is going to have some dimension. I feel like I'm going to have very few people watching this today because everybody either was up late. If they were a demonstrator, we could place a pre-order at midnight. So they were either up late and so tired, or they're at work and busy trying to shop the retiring list. So I hope you enjoy this because I'm sure you're going to watch it like a week later and it'll still be fun because this is carrying on. All right, next layer. This is Balmy Blue again. So in my description, I just said like cardstock layer. So if you wanted to mix it up, you could do something completely different. But I like to match my layers between the base and kind of the shadow that I'm adding. It just ties the card together. So this piece here is 3 inches by 4.5. Before I put it on the card, I want to add a little bit of texture. Do you guys see how this piece kind of has a little bit of a rough edge, and this one doesn't? So this is just very like standard plain cardstock, but if you take a pair of scissors and you just rub them along the top, maybe, there you go. Do you see the difference between these two sides? Just adds such nice character to your paper and kind of gives you a really natural look, which fits perfectly with a beach card. Just running my scissors all around the edges, so all 4 of the sides. You can rough it up as much or as little as you like, and it's going to make a mess, so just clear that away. Now this piece I'm going to pop up on dimensionals and put in the middle of my card front space. Nice and pretty. Now the next layer to add is going to be this sky piece. So there's a lot of gorgeous pages that I could have chosen from this package. They are a lot of different watercolor looks, and I chose a few of them for different projects, which is why they didn't end up on this one. But I loved the little gold accent in this piece because I've tied it in with some of my other like shells and grasses as well. So this is the chosen piece for me. Of course, you can flip it over and use the shells on the back. I do want to mention these little shells complement, actually all 5 of these shells have dies in the set. This large shell though, if you have the seasonal chic bundle, which is also carrying over, it will cut out this shell. There's no die in the Seaside Bay set, but just a little tip. You can cut that out with that die. All right, this one I'm adding just on with tape. It's gonna go and rest right inside my Balmy blue layer. Oh, I should give you a measurement for that. Let's see, that one is going to be 2 3/4 by 4 inches. Is how big this designer paper is. 2 3/4 by 4. There we go. Looking so fun. Okay, so next we have this little strip here, okay? So I have cut this piece 1 inch by 4. And where did my set go? In your Seaside Bay set, there's a really adorable little edge die. So you can either choose to use that, or let's say you've purchased the stamp set, but you don't have the edge die. You can just take your scissors and just cut yourself kind of like a uneven, circly, hilly ground, because we're going to rough up these edges the exact same way that we did on our outer perimeter, and it's going to look very similar to what the die would do anyways, simply because we're just roughing it up. Okay, so that's an easy way for you if you just kind of want to cheat and get this done super fast. But if you don't like fussy cutting, then definitely the die is great. Okay, roughing up all those edges. Oh, lots of people. Hello, ladies. Hi, Kathy. Okay, here we go. I've roughed this up, and now I would like to stamp. So you have the choice of a couple different stamps. There is this one here that has some beautiful seashells in it, or there's this one, and it just has the plain sand look for you. This one's perfect because it's got that bend. It will actually frame over top of your shell if you're ever stamping that. But I've just mounted the one with the shells because I had it ready to go. And I'm using Crumb Cake ink. So this guy is on Crumb Cake paper. And I'm just adding maybe a couple different layers. They don't need to be in the same spots. You just want a couple different pieces there. Very simple. Oh, I guess while you have your Crumb Cake open, if you want, I chose the little shell with the pearl inside. You can go ahead and stamp something on the inside of your card. Do the crab or the bird or anything you want, but I'm just keeping this simple. I'm doing the pearl on the outside and the pearl on the inside. All right, now this little piece, we are adding tape to the back. It's going on flat, but don't put any tape near the top edge because we do want a little bit of room for your grasses to kind of just tuck in behind it. You don't really want to see the ends of them. So I would say put some adhesive kind of on the bottom, maybe even the middle of this little sand dune, but you don't need to worry about the very bottom or the very top of it. And this lines up just to the bottom edge of your designer paper. Okay, so you do still have that blue border on the bottom edge. Now to decorate. So I've went ahead and I've cut a bunch of things out. So I've got my little oyster, and they've got a cute little pearl in there. I stamped this with Crumb Cake, and I put it just on basic white. I cut out a stitched circle. This is the smallest one for my sentiment. And then I cut some grasses. So I've got a gold large one, supposedly a gold, oh, there it is. A gold small one. And I used some of the designer paper. I don't know if you can tell. This one is one of the sheets that's got kind of some silver stripes on it. Maybe see it more on the back. I cut 2 little grasses with that. The small seashell I did in a gold foil. The large seashell I cut out of designer paper as well. And then we'll add pearls too. Okay, so let's get going here. The first thing I'm going to start with is this oyster, because of course we're going to kind of move things around where they're sitting. if you want to make this shiny and pretty, you can take your Wink of Stella brush and color all over the shell. You won't be able to see it as much on my screen, but when you're up close, it is very pretty. Okay, so just adding a little bit of, oh, you can see it, a little extra shine to your oyster there. This we're going to pop up on dimensionals, place on the right hand side of our card here. Just a few dimensionals is good. And we're going to, I'm kind of leaning him off of the paper a little bit. He just sits on the top of the crumb cake edge with the tiniest bit of his edge kind of hanging off. Now you can start with your grasses, and they can go however you want. Doesn't really matter where you start. So I'm going to just use my glue. That's the easiest way to get these guys on. And all we're doing is a tiny little bit of glue on the very bottom of each of the grass. You don't need to worry about any on the top because, to be honest, it's going to be more bother than it's worth. And you just tuck that gently under and keep going. Okay, so again, just on the bottom of your grass piece, tuck it in place, somewhere that you're happy. Continue on. So I did this card as one of the cards for a specialty class this last month, and we made, I think, 5 projects. So I'll show you those projects at the end. This was one of the cards that, or one of the projects, I should say, that my attendees got to make. And just so you know, if you're in Canada, I do offer to-go kits for my classes, so you can always sign up. I list all the events on Facebook page, Lawrence Scraplot. And I can mail stuff to you and give you a video for them. So here we go. That's nice and pretty. Let's add our little shells. So I'm popping the large one up first on dimensionals. He just goes kind of a little angle, like right in the middle of your grass cluster. And then just one dimensional is good on the back of your gold little shell. Go right there. Now for my sentiment, I did go with the sentiment that came with Seaside Bay. So you are a pearl, rare and precious. However, I don't know if I have it on my desk. I do. Here we go. There's another gorgeous beach set in the catalog. It's called Friends Are Like Seashells. This set is retiring, so you can purchase it. I don't think the stamp is on sale, but the embossing folder and the dies are both on sale on the retiring list. These sentiments, like For You or Love You to the Beach and Back, they fit perfectly inside these little stitched circles as well. So something to keep in mind if you love the ocean, maybe snag this one before it disappears. Look, so pretty. And then you can always add this guy to your collection too. So I'm going with Night of Navy, one of my favorites. I actually found out, a bunch of us asked Stampin' Up, like, what are the colors that have been around forever? They said Old Olive basically was the longest, and Real Red was second. But Night of Navy has been around for quite a long time too. So I kind of guessed that. It's a very good standard. All right, turn that one over, and we're not popping this guy up. We're just putting it on flat so that we don't have everything giving you a weird sense of depth or lack thereof. And I just tucked this kind of in behind wherever the grass and the pearl or the oyster kind of work with it. So might be a little different than mine, and that's fine. Gems, here we go. Okay, I've used so many of these. I'm so glad they're carrying over. So I would like, these are the flat adhesive back pearls, would like one large one to go on the inside of my pearl. It's right where that pearl already is. And then you can use some of the smaller ones just to kind of give you a little bit of a cluster look and like a little bit of decor. See this guy? There we go. Just took 3 of them and put them kind of down in this corner. I don't know, some people might be way better at placing embellishments, but this is what I figured worked for me. Maybe we'll move those up just a tiny bit. They're right by the shell. There. Voila! There is your beautiful and very shiny card. So as promised, I'll show you the other projects that we did. If you're in Canada, I actually have 2 sets left. So the class is $50 Canadian. It includes all the materials for the projects. You'll get a video tutorial, and it includes the Seaside Bay stamp set. So, and then $10 shipping, I guess, like for everything to get shipped to you if you're not in Edmonton. Or if you want the dies and the paper as well, the class is $115. So you'd get all the projects, video tutorial, measurements list, supply list, and the bundle, the full bundle, and paper for $115. So I have 2 kits left. I won't be making any more, but if you want to snag one of them, you can always just message me and we'll get that arranged for you. So here we go. Here is another one of the cards. This is probably my favorite project. So this is a little box of chocolate shells, and we made a little sleeve for it. And then with the design that I used on the sleeve, we made a matching little card, because you don't necessarily need a huge card to give out all the time, but we just did a little card that you can pass along and write in. How shiny this is. I love it. Makes me so happy. So that was project number 3 and 4. And then project number 5 was a twist and pop card. So here's the front. Some beautiful waves and a little pearl hiding there. And then pops open like this. So I have to give credit. I did the front. I loved it as a card in itself. And then I saw this idea from Stamping with Erin, where she did a pop and twist card. And this was like what I saw on the inside of her card. And I was like, yes, I will put that on the inside of my card. So full credit to her for the inside of this card design and the pop and twist kind of idea there. But it is so fun. Look how pretty it is. Beautiful. So there were the 5 cards. You're welcome to snap a screenshot if you don't want to buy the full kit and tutorial, but if you need it, let me know. I have 2 of them left. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed our project, and I hope that you're enjoying the rest of your crafting day if you get a little bit of time to do it. Have a wonderful Easter. I could have done an Easter project, but I decided I really wanted to play with this. So I hope you guys have a happy Easter. We'll do a spring card soon instead. And I look forward to crafting with you guys again next week at noon. So we'll see what's on the agenda for that day. Bye.